You hear it all the time, right? Train your brain, boost your IQ. We all want to improve our minds, but what does the science actually say? Let's cut through the hype and look at the hard evidence.
So this is the big question, isn't it? The idea is just so appealing. You do some bicep curls, your arms get bigger. So you should be able to do some, I don't know, brain curls, and your intellect grows. But is it really that simple? Is that comparison even fair? Let's break down what that kind of training really involves.
Okay, so when most of us think brain training, our minds immediately jump to those apps and games, right? It's a massive, multi-billion-dollar industry promising to sharpen everything from your memory to your focus. But this is where we run into a really interesting paradox in the research.
So first, let's talk about what these games are actually good at. It's a concept called near transfer. It's pretty straightforward. If you play a specific memory game over and over, you'll get really, really good at that game and probably other very similar memory games. And you know what? That part is absolutely proven. No debate there.
But here's the thing. This is the real promise, isn't it? This is why people are actually downloading these apps. It's called far transfer. This is the huge idea, that getting good at that little memory game on your phone will somehow make you better at remembering your grocery list, or focusing during a big meeting at work, or even learning a new language. This is the holy grail of cognitive training.
So let's just put them side by side for a second. On one hand, you've got near transfer. It's specific. It's easy to demonstrate. You practice a thing, you get good at that thing. Simple. But on the other hand, you have far transfer. That's the dream, that practicing one little isolated skill is going to magically level up your performance in all these broad, complex, real-world situations. And this is where the science gets really, really clear. And boom, this quote just says it all. You have to understand, a meta-analysis isn't just one study. It's a study of all the studies. It's like the final word. And these researchers, Sala and Gobert, they looked at the entire field of evidence and found that the promise of far transfer is, well, it's basically zero. The effect is null. So the big takeaway for you here is you got to be skeptical of those apps that promise to make you smarter. They might make you better at the game for sure, but the evidence says they probably won't make you better at life.
All right, so if the brain games don't really work, then what does? Are we just stuck with the brain we have? Not even close. Let's look at a totally different approach that actually has incredible scientific backing.
That's right. It turns out the science is just overwhelming on this one. Physical exercise is one of the single most effective things you can do to build a better, stronger, more resilient brain. And I'm not speaking in metaphors here. Moving your body literally, physically changes your brain's structure and how it functions.
So the crucial thing to get is how this works. When you exercise, your body starts pumping out this amazing protein called BDNF. The best way to think about it is like Miracle-Gro or fertilizer for your brain cells. It helps keep the neurons you already have alive and healthy. And this is the amazing part, it actually encourages the growth of brand new ones.
And the benefits are so concrete and measurable. We're talking about aerobic exercise here. Running, swimming, cycling, anything that gets your heart pumping. It actually triggers neurogenesis, that's the birth of new neurons, especially in the hippocampus, which is a super important area for memory. It strengthens the connections between your brain cells, it improves blood flow to your brain, and like we just saw, it boosts that critical BDNF.
But wait, it's not all about getting sweaty on a treadmill. Cardio is fantastic, but there's another kind of exercise that has some truly jaw-dropping effects on the physical structure of your brain.
Take a look at this number, negative 3.7%. Now, by itself, it probably doesn't mean a whole lot, but in context, this number represents a remarkable, honest-to-goodness reversal of a key marker of brain aging.
Okay, so here's what that number means. In a study, a simple 12-week resistance training program, we're talking about lifting weights. It actually decreased the volume of white matter lesions in the participants' brains. Now, during the control period where they didn't exercise, these lesions actually grew. So think about that. Strength training didn't just stop the damage, it actually seemed to be reversing it. That is incredible.
Okay, so we've established it. Physical exercise is a total powerhouse for your brain. But, just like in the gym, how you train really matters. It's not just about showing up. We can actually borrow principles from physical training and cognitive science to get better at, well, pretty much anything. In the fitness world, these are basically the golden rules. To get stronger, you have to apply an overload. That means pushing just a little beyond your comfort zone. Then you need progression, slowly upping the challenge over time. Your training needs to be specific to what you're trying to achieve.
And this one is so important, you need recovery. Because all the growth and adaptation happens when you rest. Guess what? These exact same principles apply to learning any new skill, whether it's mental or physical.
Now here's a super powerful but simple tool from cognitive science. It's called Goal, Plan, Do, Check. Before you tackle any complex task, you just walk through these steps. What is my goal? What's my plan to get there? Then you do it. And finally, you check your work. This little structured approach has been shown to dramatically improve performance on pretty much any task you can think of.
And I love this one. This is a brilliant principle from memory research. It basically says that your brain is lazy in a smart way. It links memories to the environment where you form them. So what's the big takeaway? If you want to get good at giving presentations for work, you should practice giving the presentation in a room that looks like an office, not just by reading your notes in bed. The closer your practice environment is to your performance environment, the better your recall will be. It's that simple.
All right, let's pull all of this together now. We've kind of busted the myth of those brain training games, and we've uncovered what the science says really works. So, it's time to assemble our evidence-based toolkit for genuine cognitive fitness.
First off, let's get a really clear definition of what we're even aiming for. We're calling it cognitive fitness. And it's not just about knowing a bunch of facts. It's the actual capacity to use your brain's resources to get things done. And just like physical fitness has components like strength and endurance, cognitive fitness does too. And the most important part, it can be trained.
And here it is, your toolkit. Number 1, aerobic exercise. Get that heart rate up to grow new neurons. 2, resistance training. Lift some heavy things to literally protect your brain's structure. 3, apply those SMART training principles, overload, progression, recovery, to everything you're trying to learn. 4, use simple cognitive strategies like goal, plan, do, check. 5, engage in complex learning. Try something really hard, like a new instrument or a new language. And finally, number 6, practice with specificity. Train for the test, whatever that test might be in your life.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that your brain is always changing. It's constantly adapting based on what you do and what you don't do. Neuroplasticity isn't a switch you can just flip on and off. It's happening right now. So forget the quick fixes and the silly games. The real question, the one that really matters is, knowing what you know now, what are you going to do to train your brain today?